The first question I'm asked when I tell people about my quest to become a kick-ass kitesurfer is just how kick-ass? And it's something I've been giving a lot of thought to. What should I aim for? A certain trick, but then which one? Which discipline should I focus on? I love riding waves, but then there's jumping, and I'm just starting to fall in love with foiling. However I defined success in this quest, it seemed I was going to have to sacrifice a part of my riding I loved. So I've decided to do something different. Let me explain. For years now, I've used simulation as a way of improving my kiting on days of no wind. I practiced something over and over again, either in my head or actually stepped through it until I had it perfectly. I'd combine this with endlessly scrutinising, in minute detail, YouTube videos of whatever it was I was trying to learn to get it absolutely clear in my head in an effort to be absolutely prepared once I got on the water, so I'd be able to blast through that next trick. Unfortunately, this just didn't work. I'd run through the move time and again and again and again. When I was out on the water, I'd rerun it just before I attempted it, paying really close attention to what I was doing, often recording it at the same time for later analysis. The result? Failure, frustration, and a growing sense I was becoming progressively more useless every day. Didn't I used to be good at this? I'd ask myself. One day, I was watching the Tim Ferriss experiment. For those of you who haven't seen it, this is a show where Tim sets himself a ludicrously difficult skill to learn in an amazingly short space of time to fulfill some challenge at the end of the show. You know, he's got to learn to play drums, then appear on stage with Foreigner at a live gig just a few days later. In 2 of the episodes, he learns a sport. One, surfing with Len Hamilton, the other, golf with Terry Rolls. What struck me in both of these episodes were the coach's final words just before he set off on his final challenge. Terry said, "What we've been doing is a very organised way of practicing things to allow things to happen naturally. So I need you to understand what it is you have to do, but when you actually play, it's just you hitting a golf ball and there's the target." Laird was even more flippant, not even setting a challenge, simply saying, "Enjoy it." That was it. Nothing profound, no life-changing, amazing advice. Or so I thought at the time. Then I started to reflect, and it slowly dawned on me this was actually insanely good advice, given what we know about the peak performance state. The flow state, as it's called, is that state you sometimes go into where every action is effortless, where one moment flows perfectly into the next, where time dilates and we feel godlike, totally caught up in the moment. It's also the ultimate human performance state, where we're performing up to 350% better than normal. Now, the interesting thing about this state is that it's an intensely focused but intensely relaxed state. I looked back at my efforts trying to push my kiting and realised I'd been anything but relaxed. I'd been so stressed trying to get all the different parts into place in perfect order and timing whilst recording the damn thing that I'd been so wound up it was impossible to get anywhere near a flow state. This is a really common problem. We're taught from birth that if we just try hard enough, we will get there. That the secret to success is hard work. Put in the hours, keep banging your head against that brick wall until you start to make progress. What if the real secret is to follow Laird's advice? Just enjoy it. Or as Obi-Wan put it, let go. When we're having fun, we relax, we focus, and we live in the now. All prerequisites for accessing the flow state. Now, does this mean that all that study and practice was for nothing? Absolutely not. As Don Draper of Mad Men, fictional character maybe, but flow hacking expert for sure, as he said, when he's asked how he comes up with such amazing advertising campaigns, he replied, "I think about it intensely, then I forget about it." This period of simulation, of intense study, forms what we call the struggle phase. This is the time when we're training our body in the biomechanics of the skill and laying down the neural pathways that will enable us to perform effortlessly. However, once we get on the water, we have to forget all this. We have to hand over to instinct and trust that the struggle has given our subconscious what it needs and that it knows what to do. This allows us to enter into a flow state, which is what then causes these exponential leaps in performance. I've since seen this time and time again in my own training and in training others. One of the tools we use on no wind days is wakeboarding, and the part that everyone struggles with is actually getting out of the water. When the boat starts to move and pull you along, the natural instinct is to pull backwards and try and heave yourself out of the water. When actually what you need to do is to allow the boat to pull you out effortlessly. Trying to transmit this concept at times can be nigh on impossible. So having given the person all the instruction they need, including detailed explanations, video examples and dry runs on land, we put them into a flow state and tell them to forget about everything else. The result? Since using this technique, we have a 100% success record at getting people up on their first session. Beforehand, we were lucky if we got 30%. So, instead of setting myself some arbitrary goal, I've decided to go instead in a search of flow and let it take care of my progression. See, I figure as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I'm going to be the best guy on the water, in Laird's words, and I can't help but progress. I'll be going into exactly how I'm doing this over the course of the next year. But if you want a head start, I run an exclusive VIP coaching club where I teach the exact blueprint I use to get into a flow state, so I can progress 3 times faster. Now, using flow like this has revolutionised how world-class athletes train and prepare for their sport, and is the exact system I use every day on the water. As a member of the coaching club, I'll walk you through exactly how to induce more flow in your kitesurfing on demand every session, so you can progress much faster in your kitesurfing. You can find out more by clicking the link which should be appearing around this video now. Okay guys, that's all for today. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you next time.